For coming. Good afternoon. My name is Durosaye, and I work Dev-Afrique Development Advisor. For this section, I will be facilitating it with my colleagues at Dev-Afrique Development Advisor. First, let's remind ourselves why we did this discussion. How many of us agree with me that most of the food we consume every day is developed by small-scale producers? And you will agree with me that as AI is becoming prominent on the continent, most of these farmers do not have access to these tools to improve efficiency and productivity. Because of some of these challenges, one is poor internet and digital infrastructure. The second one is low local data or limited local data. Another one is digital literacy and skill gap. And the last one is high cost of adoption for the farmers themselves. But there's a solution. We can co-create a localized, low-cost models that could bridge those gaps. And how do we do that? One of the things we can do is develop solutions that integrate local languages, that provides offline access, that also fits the local agricultural communities present in Africa. And then we can also develop solutions that provide simple and user-friendly interfaces, particularly for people that are not familiar with high-tech solutions. And the last one is to develop solutions that fit or comply with national laws and AI policies. So this is not just theory. It's already happening in Africa. One of them is Equitable, developed by ITA, that reached over 1.4 million farmers across different countries. And also we have new plant village AI that has increased the yield of farmers by 30% in Kenya. And then the last one is eProd, which is an offline supply chain management system used by 350,000 users across 18 African countries. I'll take a pause now to see if anyone has experienced using similar tools. Can you just use the mic just to discuss some of the experiences in terms of the solutions and impact?
Well, it's not so much using, but I've also built a tool in the space. And I think the question is always like, how do you co-design that last mile solution for the farmer to be able to access this AI usefully? I saw that you have proposed SST. I don't think that's necessarily, the answer. So that's what we have found from my experience, that just because it's offline doesn't mean that it's necessarily useful. Yeah, that's even just still having humans in the loop is very important.
Okay, so we're talking about adoption.
Yeah.
That question? All right, we'll now move to another region to see what works in India. An example is Sabu Babu, which is a WhatsApp chatbot solution that doubles the farmer income using LLMs. And other initiatives like IVR, voice responses, WhatsApp, apps, and recently the solution could also work. So we need to do more. We need to scale up adoption. And how do we do that? We need to build strong partnership among critical stakeholders, including governments, private sector, innovators, investors, the farmers themselves, and also extension agents. Another one we need to look at is to establish clearer policies on data agriculture and data protection. And the last one is to build sustainable business model that could provide affordable pricing for the farmers themselves. So what are the viable business models in place in Africa at the moment? So the most sustainable one is business to business or business to government, whereby innovators sell directly to the business and then they scale it down to the farmers, or they sell directly to the government and also scale it down to the farmers or extension agents. Another one is public-private partnership, like PPP, whereby the private sector partners with the government to launch different products for the farmers. And then another sustainable model is the free and subsidized access. Although this is moderately, sustainable because we only do free access for a short before you go into subscription based. And then the last one on the list is NGO and philanthropy supported model. This is actually sustainable, but moderately because most of the NGO supports only pilot phase of development. So it's only advisable that you use this last model for the pilot phase before moving to the business to business and other models. And then we come to the ethical side of things, there's ethical considerations. So for us to be able to build sustainable localized AI solutions, we need to build solutions and also develop policies that protect farmer data. That's one. We need to ensure transparency and fairness in terms of algorithm so that people can explain and also be accountable for those algorithms. And then the next one is to promote the gender and youth inclusion because of the participation of women in agriculture. It's only right for us to develop solutions that protect them and also ensure that the youth can also participate as key agents of change in the industry. And then the last one is to build solutions that support environmental sustainability, and that's going offline. And then collaboration is key. Collaboration is key. If you can see the screen, you could see critical stakeholders across the very board and how they interact with each other. One is the governments at the top level where they provide policies. And on the right-hand side, they provide promotions and subsidies to the private sector. So this particular model could inform how you engage the government. You can demand funds from them, you can demand subsidy from them, and you can demand promotion from them. And in turn, the private sector gives technology and funds to the farmers and extension agents. And on the left-hand side, you will see how it flows from governments to the academia providing knowledge to the farmers. And then on the other hand, you will see the development partners also supporting the government in funding some of this research. In turn, you have a regional development that cut across innovation, sustainability, and productivity. I'll pause to take any questions from them. Together we can make this happen. Thank you. So as a next step, we'll be going into different breakout sections, and one of them is technology and data subcommittee, where they'll be focusing on data gaps, language barriers, and adapting tech for low resource environments. So there are some call to actions, some action points there that we want you to answer, also discuss for the next 20 minutes. And then the second one is policy and partnership. So like the policy and partnership, we want you to focus on policy frameworks, funding models, and PPP partnerships for scaling solutions. So we also have action points there. for you to discuss among yourself. Also come to the plenary section to discuss further. And then the last one is targeting the extension implementation group, which has to do with adoption. So this part, we want you to engage the farmers and also come up with solutions according to the action points. Thank you very much. Okay.
So the presentation was just to set context, right? The theory that was shared, but we just wanted to ensure that everyone was on the same page as we start. And now is the co-creation phase. We're here not to listen to presentations, but to co-create solutions that actually drive change. And so we have 3 groups that will look at the 3 different buckets. And the goal is based on the context that has been set. What are some of the solutions based on the context we have and the work that we're doing? And beyond the work that we're doing is the different stakeholders that we're engaging. And I know there's a fair mix of stakeholders in the group, from the farmers group, I'm hoping some researchers, some NGO actors, development partners, just so that we have a varied voice as we generate some of these solutions. And so Malcolm is just going to direct us on what the group breakout would look like. And then you have the 20 minutes just to discuss solutions, and then we'll come back to plenary. We'll have a representative from a group just share what insights you got. We'll hear from the audience as well, like other participants, if that resonates, what other ideas can we incorporate? Is it feasible? And then as you look through the questions, one other key important point to think about is who are the actors that could potentially drive some of the ideas that you are presented? Because we just don't want this to be a document or a list of solutions, but actionable steps that we could easily follow up with some key actors and stakeholders. So also have that at the back of your mind as you discuss with the groups. Thank you. Over to you.
All right, thanks, Shuko. So if you see the numbers in your desk, we have 6, so 1 and 2, because of the population. Let's stick to technology and insight on table 2, and policy and partnership on table 3, and extension and implementation on table 4. There's 2, 3, 4. Thank you.
So,
Okay. 2, 3, 4.
there's a table 5 players.
Yeah.
This is a table 2 for technology and data. If you are someone with background in technology, data gathering, and then it's discuss on the action point. Then we are wonderful person. Police action marketing. So the idea is you guys speak to the action points and I'm seeing a lot of people converging in that section.
So the questions are on the screen.
Yeah. So we have a policy and partnership.
The answer for policy and partnership. Just because, just to manage.
What is this?
Okay. So this is also a very important. Yes. So it's called.
So suggestion,
Okay.
potentially we could first capture and then work on this.
Yeah, the parallel. You see the very small.
Yeah.
So you see, once you enter on the yellow sheet. And the purple or pink or policy. And the green one is the extension. Right. So we're using
Hi, Grace. Can you?
Hi, Esther. Yeah, I can hear you.
The feedback. Hi, Grace.
Hello.
Hello.
Advice.
Can you hear us now?
Better. So that's the we like to know the thoughts.
Yes.
Talking on the question, what are the key requirements of farmers and extension for AI solutions? And how can we support widespread adoption? So that's the first question I would like us to discuss. Peter, what are the key requirements? What are the things that farmers and extension officers or agents would like to have or to see with AI solutions? And how can we facilitate a widespread adoption of these AI solutions?
Language barrier is one of the challenge that should be addressed. The language barrier. We know we might be having an idea. So for somebody who is reading and taking the information does not understand what is in the so we need to have a language that a farmer can understand.
And this is both in terms of terminology and the actual language, right?
Yes.
And I have a follow-up question. And my follow-up question is, from your experience on the ground, what is sort of the literacy rates, right? Because the other reality is we translate to Swahili, but there's also that segment that can't read even the local language. So based on your experience on the ground, are there limitations that like in terms of even if like people that can read write in the local languages?
This is how I would put it in the Kenyan context. Swahili, everybody knows. Even at the local farmer, in the mashinani, I work with farmers. So if we can have the modules that can be translated into Swahili, that will come in house. But now it's not the Swahili Sanifu.
Swahili what?
Sanifu.
Okay.
Swahili Sanifu is the correct Kiswahili English, the Kiswahili language, but Swahili Sanifu. Because when you go to the ground, especially when we are dealing with various operations, they have their own kind of a localized terminology that they use for certain operations. So I don't know how now we can get further down to that level of localizing how the terminologies are used. Yeah. Because like pruning, how would you call that in Swahili? There is no, I don't, okay, I'm sure there is a word that it can be used to say pruning. Yeah? But now, when you get to the localized language, maybe like in Nandi, how do you call that? So I don't know how it can get to that level.
But Swahili can be understood by everybody across, from a old man to a young man. So I think if you use English, you are only talking to the elite. But Kiswahili, you are talking to everybody. Even a young boy, 3 years old, can understand Swahili. So in Kenya, Swahili is more adopted.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe the language barrier is one of them. Challenge. For us, for example, this is in Kenya case, maybe English Swahili. But for generally, I think as in Africa, there is many ethnics that is their own language, depend on the region. For example, I give one example in Ethiopia. Around 83 ethnics, they have their own language, but the national language is Amharic, and also school and start from my school, it is the English. The national language, the others, the majority ethnics is Oromo, for example. So some is here, Amharic, some is Oromo, some is just it is complex.
Yes.
This is not the common. This is one of the issues, language barriers. If it is Amharic, the national language, if you go one regions, it is whole language. Okay, this is in general the language barrier. It is common. For example, if you take Kenyan context is all farmers is talk the Swahili.
Yeah, all farmers
Yes.
talk the Swahili.
Yeah, okay, it is okay.
Yes.
In Kenya, this is okay. For example, in my country, it's
So
different.
that we're able to,
Yes. Yeah.
so that we're able to move, can we talk of maybe at country level, each country has maybe 2 national languages that can be used for communication, right?
Yes.
In offices, in business, all over. Ethiopia, English, Amharic. Kenya, English, Kiswahili, and which other country here?
Zambia.
Zambia, you have English and?
English as the main language.
And the second national language?
7. There's no one national language.
There's no one, okay, for some countries which have at least 2, it'd be easier now maybe if the AI can be moderated in a way that it is able to translate English into the second national language in Kenya, or English into the second national language in Ethiopia.
So, I think we on language barrier as one of the requirements. I think we have somebody.
Yeah, we have somebody online who wants to speak. Hi, Grace. And we're not speaking loud enough. We saw your hand up. I think you wanted to speak. Go ahead, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace. So just to probably add on the language barrier aspect, yeah, we may assume like in Kenya, some farmers may be able to understand Swahili. Unfortunately, not all, but that would be an alternative for English. But probably what I would suggest, especially when conducting the training, is probably also using something like video or something more visual for proper understanding. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So
yes.
incorporating maybe graphics, short video clips, we will also be able to address the issue of language barrier.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Maybe for a language barrier, currently we used to translate those in local languages. For example, in Ethiopia context, we translate around the majority of 5 languages. It depends on the ethnics, the majority of the ethnics, it translates those languages. So if you do just like that, it is okay. And also the second is the visual, is the video. Is it is the second one?
Okay. Yeah, I think we have give great emphasis on language barrier.
Yeah.
And we also want to explore what are key requirements, because it's actually language that gets this solution out in the hands of farmers. What are the other things that farmers and extension agent would want to see, right, to facilitate what AI can do also do for them, right, and widespread adoption. So what are the other key requirements that we might need to consider? We've talked about language, it has to be diverse as much as possible, right, to meet local context. Right. So what are the other things with this digital solution? Farmers will be like, oh, I want this. This is fitting my context and widespread.
I think the other challenge can be in terms of convincing them that it will be beneficial to them. Because you have this AI tool, you want to train them on it. They'll say maybe they have other things they need to do. How is this bringing any benefit to me in the long run? So I also think that building that initial trust between, like, in that sense.
Yeah, that is good. Maybe the other issue is about the access of infrastructure, access of infrastructure. If you take the internet connection, that is maybe online and offline, those to manage that issues. Infrastructure is one of the challenge. And also maybe it is mentioned about the capacity building at the grassroots level, capacity building issues, maybe how to subsidize the farmers. So those including the Yeah.
So one thing is, I think he means access to the right tools,
Yeah.
even if it is a simple phone.
Yes.
Even
smartphone.
not necessarily smart, maybe USSD can also be a solution, where a farmer is able maybe to input his or her name and then ask the question, 1 or 2 questions, 3 questions, and get the answer. That can be one of the things. But now here comes in the level of digital literacy. Yeah, how literate are they? Yes, many of them have phones, and even if they are not smartphones, but they only know how to call out. So they may not understand or maybe realize that it is a tool, even if it is through a USSD messaging kind of platform that they can use to get some of the information. Of course, they would know how to read, because when they are calling, they are able to search and look for the name they want to call. But when it gets now to what can this small tool in my hand do, they may not be there. So these are issues around digital literacy.
Yeah, that is easily to manage.
Yeah. I mean, do you consider costs as something?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cost is a challenge.
And what would be the main cost barrier?
You see, when it comes to cost, maybe this phone is very costly for that farmer. But what you call the kabambe, the small one, most of them are able to have them, maybe through a son or a daughter. Yeah, because the son could be away and wants to communicate home, so they have bought that small gadget to it for the parent. And if I look at it, in Kenya, we are about 50 million. But I think over 30 million have a line. And if they have registered for a line with that 1 million plus, then it means that they have a phone of whichever phone, either smart or right. So in terms of cost, I wouldn't really be convinced that it can be an issue. The issue is, I have a gadget on my hand. What use can I make of it? I think for me, that would be the real.
Okay, we have Grace also who wants to speak. Grace, please go ahead.
Thank you. Probably what I would also add is to make make it more simple, like not use a lot of jargons. In areas where it's possible, probably icons can be used. Pictorial icons can be used. So probably just avoiding the use of technical terms or jargons. Yes, making it as simple as possible.
So in terms of the user experience, right? Of the solution, if that's what you mean, Grace.
Yes, yes, yes.
Great. Okay. Do we see more comment on the comments? And what to facilitate widespread adoption of these AI solutions?
The second question?
Yeah, I mean, do we have more comments?
Yeah, I think what you've discussed kind of covers almost everything, because if we can get to that level of getting out of the plus 30 million, maybe Kenyans who own a phone, out of the 50 million, maybe 70% of them are farmers, or maybe 40%. So if we're able to make it simple, maybe for them to at least to enhance that digital literacy, so that they know the gadget they have on the hand can do more than just calling or messaging. I think that we have catered for the widespread to some extent. Secondly, the widespread again, if you're able to embrace that language barrier, and in terms of maybe the graphic, I know issues around the graphics and the videos can only come from this, right? So when we're able to do that, and it happens, maybe a good proportion of the farmers have the smartphones, then they're able to learn. you'll be surprised that even some mothers at home are able to follow YouTube and be able to make a recipe, some food using a certain recipe. So can the same happen maybe for the farm level activities? Yeah.
I'm also thinking something. I'm thinking of in digital world, we have very many products, the AI products from different companies and so forth and so on. Some doing the same, providing the same solutions. And we have a platform where all these companies can be able to be integrated together so that we can have a one what we can have a one platform where now all these others can, where a farmer now can go there and he can receive all the solutions from different yeah. Like I can have, I don't want to have an application in my phone for certain company. Some two companies providing the same solution. So it's something like that. I don't know how possible it is. It is just my thing.
Yeah, the other point is maybe it is as a solutions.
One of the requirements.
Yeah, requirement. Yeah, the other requirements is for example, it needs maybe the farmers training centers. For example, in Ethiopia context, we have the farmer training centers to give information, advisory service, or from the professional workers or the development agents. Now, maybe it is different from Kenya's in Ethiopia context. The development agent is at the county level or the level, at the grassroots level, news to the farmers, to give extension workers, advising, or all about the agronomic practice. So, for example, if there is information, the smartphone or their farmer's mobile is there is no need charging is lost, maybe it didn't get the information. So due to that, it needs one center is advice from the development agent if the information is passed from where it is based the information. So it needs farmers training centers to get additionally for the smartphone additionally it gets the information is just like the other the farmer field schools. Just as a farmers field school come together and then discuss their any challenge in the problems, whatever from the farmers area. So this is it needs more additionals as a.
If I get you, do you mean sort of feedback?
Maybe supplementary for information to get among the other, yeah.
Like I think what they were saying in the room, right, around while we are saying AI, you have two on your phone. There's still multiple realities that Africa grapples with. We still have load shedding. Power is not everywhere. There's all of these other so it's important to supplement the AI with the extension services, like the human interaction. I think that's the point, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But and let us not forget that the question combines farmers and extension presents together as users of solutions. So in the case of extension events, we can also empower extension events with AI solutions to empower to do their service more to farmers. So in a way, AI solution is not giving the gaps between the farmer and extension agent, but sort of losing the gaps between to help the extension agent do better work serving farmers with the right information, with the, and maybe the extension agent can to contextualize better the AI solutions to farmers. Right. Okay, we move to the next. Yeah, let's quickly move to the next question. This is really, really practical. It says, what are the best practices for training and digital literacy users of different solutions? Like, what are the best practices? I know we've mentioned some, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. I want us to, this is the time to talk about it. What are the best practices when it comes to training and digital literacy to empower users first? Users here means the farmers and extension agents, AI solution. Yeah. What are the best practices in terms of training and enhancing digital literacy of the solution?
In Kenya, we have corporate, we have farmers coming together, forming cooperatives. Is it? You can have one cooperative having 3,000 members. So I think the best solution in reaching farmers is to engage the cooperative society so that all the farmers can come together and see the solution to their problems, either in control of diseases or solving market issues and so forth and so on. So we can train the farmers in the local cooperative society. Yeah. We can also reach farmers virtually, because if we are not able to, like now we are talking to someone who is somewhere else virtually, and we can understand ourselves about something. So right now we can pass information virtually also. We can have advertisements through the local TV channels or radio channels, and we can be able to reach farmers across the board. Yeah.
And has about the idea of that one step, right? Like this is the way that platform house, the AI or but also house sound, so that even that interaction, you can write the message to the chat to bring up maybe a video training concept, and it can still pull in the same application rather than having that's a traditional approach, I find, because this solution is focused on the they have an application that the farmer will use to access videos for trading of what's recorded. And then there's this other, maybe there is USSD. These have chat respond. He was saying, beyond embedding just an AI for chatbot purposes, also capacity on one platform. Just so it's 10%, but you're targeting the same information.
Thank you. Maybe in other cases, as I told the people, to their context, there is the farmer training centers. The farmers come together at centers, it gives advisory, information sharing about all things about agricultural issues from the development agent. We have 3 up to 5 development agents in every level near to the farmers. Those give information for the farmers. Everything is from that centers. The extension workers doing this start from the federal to region to zone to warada to cover. This is a structure of the government structures to give the information for the for the farmers. Yeah, for the extension services for farmers. And the other issues, the farmer field discourse. The farmers come together and discuss about the local issues, problems, challenges in the solve together. There's others what there is a cooperative. There is a union, a cooperative, organize the farmers together. The other issue is nowadays the farmers come to the in Warada, in Tabale, also there is the model farmers. You know the model farmers. Yes. Yeah. The farmers are divided into three. Into three is one of the model farmers. It is more adopt all technologies what we get from the expert and to implement. So this is one system. The model farmers transfer the information about the agronomic practice, all issues for the others, the passive farmers. And the other issue is current the government is also the clustered. You know the cluster. There is the clustered initiatives. That, for example, the crop sector one cluster, the livestock one cluster, the other is just one cluster. Coffee growth one cluster, just move the cluster. The system is one of the best practices. This is initiatives. And the other issue is, as we mentioned, make the platform. And also, for example, in Ethiopia context, the Agricultural Transformation Institute is free calling for all farmers with the numbers, call to, if you need the information, call to the, there is a free number, free numbers for calling to the farmers from the local to go to that centers, and he ask about his problem, his challenges occurring on his farm. This is one of the other systems we need to get context. So we scale up those issues and adopt for the local levels. So
Hi, Grace.
Okay, maybe what I can also add is we realize different farmers or different areas probably may be facing different challenges. So I think the best practice would be to identify which specific challenges probably the farmers would be going or maybe going through in a certain area, and probably the AI solutions are customized to be able to provide specific solutions to specific challenges. Okay, not actually, okay, there can be general information provided, but also at the same time, the AI solution is customized to be able to provide solutions to specific challenges. So for instance, if it is an AI tool that is in aligned with the probably coffee farmers, so maybe it can be made in such a way that it is in alignment with the coffee calendar. So probably the farmer is able to work with it practically, depending on probably the solution the farmer is going through at that particular time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. That's a very important point.
Thank you, everyone.
I think we can wrap up. Right.
So we'll move to the next section just to discuss what thoughts we put into our indicators into the subcommittee. Any volunteer party? Just
I need to put, yeah. So our group was for technology and data. The first question was which digital tools or platforms are seeing the fastest rates of adoption among users and what factors are driving this uptake. And we mentioned Farm Better as one of them. We mentioned WhatsApp and also Digital Green as successful tools. And for the driving factors for the uptake, it was mentioned that the model of one agent reaching many farmers was quite successful because farmers can sometimes be very hard to reach, like logistically. So having some kind of model where you can reach many farmers through a smaller number of agents seems to work well. Another factor would be working together or collaborating with co-ops and government extension agents seems to also be important for success. And the third one would be collective group of farmers. I think it's the same idea that you have kind of a of farmers that you can reach out to, that they're already grouped together, and then so they're more easy to reach. One other idea that I wrote down was about the champion farmer, which is like an example farmer who would be maybe an early adopter of a tool, or somebody who has a lot of very good relationships already. So these are also people that can advocate for the technology or a product to other people. And then the second question is, how can language models and digital platforms be designed to meet the specific realities and needs of rural communities? And here, there was a mention of speech to text, and then the human analysis or interpretation before answering back. There was an emphasis on human-centered design as well. When designing solutions, it's important to talk with the end user, include them in the whole co-creation of the product. There was also a mention of the whole divide between farmers and maybe tech people, that they're kind of in different spheres, and so it would be important to kind of close that gap, bring them together more to hear each other's perspectives, which may be a bit challenging at times. And then the other one, so human-centered design was more about the co-creation, but then also the actual testing process somebody mentioned. It's important to include the farmer there as well. I think there was an example in the practical testing process that included that. And also somebody mentioned including youth. But I just wrote some stuff down if somebody wants to kind of back it up with more context or details from the conversations. It's okay? Yeah. Thanks.
Reserve a line of applause. Wait, group 2.
Okay, thank you so much. My group is discussed on the extension in the implementation. The policy, what is the requirements of this AI to implement or adopt the scale up? The challenge is more focused the barriers is about language barriers. And the other issue is maybe it's the access to infrastructure to the local levels to the farmers area. Those when I say about the access to infrastructure for it, maybe the smartphone, those is how to manage with the farmers, how to clear understand. This is one of the challenge is a requirement. Maybe a local level areas the power is off, for example, infrastructure is not addressed in local levels. This is one of the requirement in the challenges, and that which the trust of the requirement. This is all the issues how to adopt the best practices existing in this. The other issue is we need is a platform for the farmers to use platform, and for the others is free calling for farmers, and also it needs more closely support to the farmers when it needs advisory service for related to the AI, this the trial centers for it need expression agents to give information additional to the AI. This is the need for the best practice, also simply to use those technologies for the farmers. It is manageable and it is the best practice to address those issues. And this is all my group is discussing. This is the overall topic. Thank you very much.
So the group had a question for this group actually.
Okay.
There was a question from this group that one of the requirements is that it's oh sorry. So one of the requirements is that and it's very clear from this group, right? There's multiple platforms. But we're reaching the same farm, likely with the same information. Is there a way to reduce that with the farmer? Instead of downloading 10 apps, have one platform where I can access a chatbot to interact with, but beyond the chatbot, house the capacity building and training material there, just so that that chatbot can also pull from capacity building materials. So they were asking to say, is it possible to have the different platforms, harmonize into one, just so that the farmer is not going to 10 different platforms to access information.
Yes, the developer is very in unifying.
Sure, I will attempt to answer it, and I will say, technically it's possible in terms of developing such a platform, but the complexity comes into realizing that these are different entities offering different services, even though connected or centered around one user. So it's easier said than done, because company X has this solution, company Y has this solution, company C has this solution. You cannot just tell them to merge so that they can have one platform. However, from a development point of view, it's possible. But now in the application of it, we have a bit of an issue.
When I say something, in line with what you're saying.
Yes.
She's using so many words. Instead of saying these are different businesses who want to make money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're just.
Everyone together. And the business people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a comment.
Maybe just to
So getting all these players now to come to
and harmonize.
I think it is a novel task for us, with more cost. But maybe the DPI were discussing this morning.
Yeah.
Could be, let's have all these platforms. But maybe behind at the DPI level, if there is any payment to be made, and depending maybe at what level. Because if you look at the agricultural value chains or the food systems, it's a long value chain involving many people. Now, if we cut the upstream of the value chain, then productivity goes down.
Yeah.
Now, can we have it in a way such that you identify yourself first who you are and what is your interest, such that if you are to get the information, maybe if I'm at the marketing end where I can pay some commission, maybe something is deducted at that level. But when it is at the farmer's level, who may not even afford to have that, maybe it's left, because it's a public platform at the DPI, maybe at that point it is left free. I don't know how it can work out. The only simple tools that I know in IT is just to do my report and everything. But issues around the technology and other things, I can only imagine what can be done and without any knowledge of maybe.
So that brings us to the question of what about competition?
So maybe just to add on that, something I saw when working with a company called Agri-LLMs is, so they have various partners. So everyone who partners with them falls under, let me say, their umbrella, so to speak. So you, let's say an investor or as a farmer under Agri-LLMs, you get access to all their tested solutions, the ones which they have proven to work. So now it's upon you to choose which specific solution you want. But then the partners, when they're coming in with the knowledge that once we get in and our solution is tested and accepted, it will be put under this one platform. So I guess that can sort of maybe reduce the competition or reduce the idea, or we just want money and we want to make more money than this other, because we're all under one umbrella of some sort, and you can be knowing that.
Yes, that's true.
So just remember something. We may not necessarily have one platform, but that's where policy comes in terms of harmonizing all this information so that even though 5 organizations have similar products, have similar solutions or business models, what comes as insights from these different parties is correct and true from all of them. Nobody gives false data. So I think that's the arm of policy that majorly falls on the government regulations, so that now in this one pool of public infrastructure, this information is validated before it is passed out to the user. So that's the policy arm of it.
That's really great, Martin. Yeah, contributions. Any questions?
Yeah, no, I like that model, and because I think there was a lot of conversation around the end user, the actual farmer. That's what the group had in mind. And there's a lot of studies that show that if you increase the number of platforms that someone has access to, you reduce utility over, right? Even though you standardize, because they're providing different information, you just want to have one-stop shop. And so I think in Kenya you have for the food, food grow or something. And you have different restaurants that have come to this. Competition there is healthy because everyone is providing particular service. And I have the option to pick which restaurant I want to order from, right? And maybe that could be something that works. Building an independent, I don't know if it's an institution or it's the government that could take that part, but building that kind of platform where digital agree these other stakeholders could bring their solutions and the farmer can just pick based on what it is. Because again, you have stakeholders that are focusing on capacity building, or others are focusing on different things. And so, harmonizing is difficult, but maybe creating that in a platform that's.
I think AFBB has something similar with data technology. They have a history of all the tools. So they could have that. So
I think it should not be just about having a. It should be about this product should be a bit similar, so that if I can use one, I can use some other products. So for example, I also work in the ad space. I have some experience there, and there is a WHO standard when you're building a platform for digital organization. So you have a standard of, if you want to build a digital product that strengthens immunization, you have this model that you follow through with. So anyone that is building another product that wants to leverage another person's product, you know how to leverage it. And if I'm using this product, I know how to use every other product. So when the government now comes in and brings out like a policy, a model for people to follow through with, and then people now follow that model, then if I can use this app, then I should be able to use this app. So I can have everything in one repository, and I can use them without even having to learn new tools or new techniques.
We need to reconvene at the main thanks for joining. So attendance. There's no That's what I say. Yes, announcement, please.
There are countries like